Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. I hope everybody is doing great. If you notice that I'm not moving a whole lot, I feel kind of stiff. It's because I have my little baby Jasper here in my lap. He is not feeling too good, and so I am babying him just extra. He crawled up in my lap. I did put this here for him, so when I'm doing my videos, he can just lay in his little thing next to me, but he wanted to lay in my lap today, so that's where he's at. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the highly requested case second to the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie situation that you guys are still wanting me to talk about. And we're going to get there. But the highly requested case of the Houston boys, the three Houston boys that has recently made major headlines. Now, this all just hit the media within a couple weeks. So we only have a certain amount of information that we can go on. So everything that I'm going to say in this video is alleged. We're waiting. People have got to go to court, all of that good jazz. But this is the case of a 35-year-old mother named Gloria Williams. She is a mother of 6. Allegedly, 2 of her children, though, live with another person, and she had 4 of her children living with her in this apartment right on like the outer skirts of Houston, Texas. Gloria would then go and get into a relationship with this male chromosome.
What's up with it, man? I just, man, look, ladies, happy Valentine's Day. Cheers to you.
I don't know what we would call him. Named Brian. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Babbel. Babbel, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. I have been using Babbel for a while now, and I had always wanted to learn a new language, and Babbel inspired me to take the plunge and go ahead and do it. Babbel is a language learning app where you can learn a new language from the comfort of your own home, on the train, on the bus, anywhere. It is so easy because the lessons are only like 10 minutes long, very clear and easy to understand. And there's multiple ways that you can learn with Babbel as well. They have podcasts, they have videos, they have games, which is my personal favorite. And one of the things I love most about Babbel is it does not just teach you the language, it actually teaches you the culture as well of the language that you are learning. Recently, I have discovered that not only does my 10-year-old son Jaden love learning Spanish with me, but he's actually better than I am.
Hola, yo soy Jaden. Buenos dias, señora Christina.
If you want to try Babbel, all you got to do is click the link down in the description box, 65% off, whoop, whoop, whoop. And there is a 20-day money-back guarantee. So again, if you want to try Babbel, click the link in my description box and get to learning today.
Adios.
Now, guys, bear with me here. I got a lot to show y'all, and I really want you guys to stay all the way to the end because at the end I have something super important for you guys. So Gloria gets with Brian. Gloria was living in this apartment as of March of this year, okay, 2021, with herself, her boyfriend, her 3 babies, okay? Now her sons at this point was 15 years old, 10 years old, and 7 years old. And the body of her son that had passed away. Now, how did her son pass away? Let's get there. On October of 24th of this year, 911 gets a phone call from a 15-year-old little boy who tells the cops that he had been living in his apartment, abandoned, alone with his 3 little brothers and his other little brother's skeleton remains for over a year. Now, as you guys can imagine, the cops are completely shocked by hearing this. They're listening to this 15-year-old child tell them this, and they send, of course, the police investigators out where they found the 3 boys and the skeletal remains. And the way that they described the skeletal remains were completely dry bones. I mean, they had been there for a while. One of the 3 little boys, who was autistic, had a broken jaw, and immediately all 3 boys were taken to the hospital to be checked out. And the little boy, the autistic little boy that had the broken jaw, had to have surgery.
That apparently had not received, to our knowledge, any kind of medical attention, any pain treatment or anything like that.
And he's got quite a bit of recovery to go. All of these boys do. So at this point, of course, the cops are trying to piece things together. How did they get here? How did their other little brother pass away? As they begin to interview the boys, they told them about their mother, Gloria, who was 35 years old, and that she didn't live there with them, but that she would bring food to them once a month. So the cops are listening like, what? And these boys were living in this apartment as well with no power.
The apartment was in a deplorable condition. We saw soiled carpet, no furniture at all. No bedding, no blankets, nothing that we could see. And it appeared to have what I expect, roaches and flies and just things. It was very bad condition for anyone, especially children, to live in.
The 15-year-old little boy had a cell phone that his mother had given him so she could contact him and call him and let him know when she was going to bring that food once a month. And when she would bring the food, it'd be things like dry Roman noodles and stuff like that. It wasn't like she was stocking the house full of food for a month. Not like that would be sufficient anyways for raising 3 children. But I'm trying to let you guys know what we know so far. There was no power in the house, and so this 15-year-old little boy would sneak out at times because they were not supposed to leave the apartment, find different neighbors and he would charge his phone with the neighbors and And some of the neighbors have since spoken out too, and they said that they would see the 15-year-old little boy come out and that he would ask for food, and they thought that it was just him. They had no idea that there were other children in that apartment, and that the neighbors felt like they didn't really want to, get involved, like a lot of people don't, okay? And that they just thought, maybe the mom was, off doing whatever, and that the little boy wanted some food, and that the neighbors would say that they would give him food and he would only accept food that was completely packaged. Like if you was to make a pot of spaghetti or something, he wouldn't accept it because the 15-year-old little boy was paranoid of being poisoned. When the cops heard all of this, they went and found Gloria and her boyfriend Brian, and they brought them in for questioning. Now at this point, they didn't feel like they had sufficient evidence. I don't understand why. Then again, I'm not an investigator, to arrest them, even though they found the 3 children being neglected, abused, physical injury in an apartment with no power, alone, as well as the corpse or skeleton of another child. They let them go after questioning. Well, a couple days later, after talking to the children again, they were able to go and arrest the 2. This is where I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning, because these are some very graphic details and it has to do with a child. And so yes, trigger warning now if you can't handle those types of things. This is when in this court hearing is where I heard the graphic details, the ones that they spoke of in court. I'm sure there's many more that the children told the investigators, okay? The 15-year-old, the way I understand this, told the investigators that this guy, Brian, that was their mom's boyfriend, would beat them frequently. That originally, Brian and their mother was living in that apartment with them, okay? And a week before Thanksgiving of last year, in 2020, is when Brian took the little boy that had passed away into the room. Now, his name is Kendrick, suffered a great deal by the hands of his mom's boyfriend. The other kids said that they heard Brian take the little boy Kendrick in the room and they could hear him beating him.
Who is the complainant in the first-degree felony serious bodily injury case, who stated that he was actually in the room when the co-defendant assaulted his deceased younger brother, striking him in the face, feet, buttocks, back, his legs, and testicles with closed fists and feet. He stated that the co-defendant then laid his brother on the floor and put a cover over him, that the defendant then came in the room to check on his younger brother, saw the body under the cover. She began crying, then made him leave the room. The 10-year-old stated that the defendant and the co-defendant then began fighting because the co-defendant had killed his younger brother. He stated that the defendant then came back another day, checked on his younger brother, and found that his body, feet, and teeth had turned into a skeleton. Who stated that he saw it when his older brother, who is now deceased, was injured. He said he saw the co-defendant punching his brother, that his brother was lying down and the co-defendant kicked him with his feet, that his brother was not moving and the co-defendant continued to kick him and stared at his younger brother as he kicked him. He stated his younger brother's eyes were black and that he stopped blinking during the assault, that they pulled back the covers and saw that he was really dead and saw roaches everywhere on him. On October the 24th, 2021, when she was interviewed, and she stated that in November of 2020, before Thanksgiving, she had gone into the bedroom where the deceased complainant and 2 other children were at. She witnessed the co-defendant punching her now deceased son. She stopped him, said she stopped him from continuing to assault him, that she entered the bedroom the next morning and found him covered with a blue blanket, that she pulled back and found him to be deceased. She confronted him, the co-defendant, who stated he was sorry that he lost it and punched him, and continued punching him until he went to sleep. The co-defendant told her that he covered him up with a blanket after he went to sleep. The defendant admitted that she knew he was deceased in November of 2020, but did not notify law enforcement at the time of his death because the co-defendant had told her not to. She was afraid that the children would be taken by Child Protective Services and that she would go to jail. Officers on scene on the 24th found the deceased and badly decomposed body of the 9-year-old complainant discovered under a blanket in the bedroom. An autopsy was conducted, and the cause of death was found to be a homicide due to homicidal violence with blunt force injury.
He did finally get arrested. He is arrested for murder and his bond is $1 million. And the mother is arrested too, and she is arrested for tampering with evidence, specifically a corpse, and injury to a child by omission. Now, originally her bond was very low, but after they went back to court, they upped it, and now it's like $900,000. The children are in protective custody, thankfully, but they're going to have such a long road of recovery. I mean, I just can't imagine what they went through, the mental anguish, again, the smell. And the crazy thing is the neighbors have come out since and spoke, and there's been neighbors that said that they reported a very foul smell coming from that apartment. And when you think about what it was, and when you think about those babies being in there,
mothers are to protect their children at all costs. Yes. And these mothers today are choosing men over their kids. Yes. And they're allowing men to kill, molest, rape, bury, cut up, starve their kids. And we're tired, we're hurting. I don't say our mother can lay and sleep. I cannot sleep at night thinking about what happened to little Kendrick and his brothers. Yes. It's heartbreaking. And we want justice for them. Yes. And seeking the death penalty behind the justice. Yes.
I'm Jamea Winters. I work alongside Ms. Parker. My take on this is we need justice for Kendrick. I have a child who is autistic. Yes, they can be hard to deal with at times, but they are so lovable, and you have to love them the right way. Killing any child is unacceptable. And I feel like the apartments failed them, because when they came to you and told you that there was a smell, you done nothing about it. You failed them kids, and justice needs to be served. Thank you.
But I cannot stomach what them little boys went through. They didn't have a bed to sleep in. They didn't have food. I sit up and I brush my teeth this morning asking, did they have toothpaste? No. Did they have tissue?
Yeah.
Did they have, who washed their clothes? It's so many questions that I'm asking myself. It's heartbreaking. It's hurtful.
Yes, ma'am.
It got to be better laws when it comes to child killers. They deserve the death penalty. They really do. Don't fail these boys. We want justice for these boys, for Kendrick. We want justice for the other 3 siblings too, because they were beaten too about a stepdad. We really want justice, and I'm asking them for the death penalty. That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm going to court and stand in place for Kendrick as his mother, because a mother take care of their kids. A mother feed their kids. A mother send their kids to school. A mother hug their kids. Grandmothers call their kids and ask them how they doing, how their day went. How did you do at school? Did you do well? Where were the parents? Where were the grandparents? I have 12 grandparents. I call my grandkids every day. How was your day? Birthdays. What about their birthdays? What about holidays? Where were everybody at? This is heartbreaking. This is a lot to deal with. We need justice from the top to the bottom. We need justice. We ask for justice for Kendrick.
Are you amazing?
Miss Sonia, and she started a organization named Parents Against Predators, and I love this. I'm going to leave the link down below if you guys would like to donate to this. This is a woman, she tells, you can go on the website, I've read her story. She tells you her story and the things that she's went through. And her big passion is like, first of all, us women, and I'm not saying anything against the men, because men can be victims too, but we're going to talk about women here, because this is another mother situation that has allowed a boyfriend to do her kids like this, whatever. She's basically saying, like, we got to quit as women needing to be in a relationship so bad that we'll just let anybody in and treat our kids and hurt our kids and do this stuff to our kids. So it's Parents Against Predator. And she's very passionate, and I just really love what she's doing. So again, I'll leave it linked down below. The last part is Brian's parents released a statement. And I think that this is so telling when you compare what this Brian's parents did compared to what Brian Laundrie's parents did. This is the statement that this Brian's parents released. We are deeply saddened by the events that have unfolded. This is not how we raised our son to be. Our hearts and prayers go out to those brave children. We did not know the children involved, but we are praying for the soul of the child that passed and the remaining siblings and their family and all of those affected by this horrible tragedy. And then they added later, because they were asked, our relationship with Brian has been distant for years. So I don't know what else they said, but I thought that, that is a little bit, and I don't know them. They could be terrible people. They could be wonderful people. I have no idea who they are. But what I can say is they released a statement, at least expressing some sort of emotion for these babies and the situation. And it's very different than the other Brian Laundrie, the other Brian's parents, Brian Laundrie. So I thought that that was very interesting. But man, just pray for these babies. I'm going to follow this in court. I don't know if they're going to take it to trial, if they're going to end up taking plea deals, but they are both in jail. And I personally think, if my opinion, I think that they were on substances. Now, the babies, while they were giving their interviews or their statements, whatever you would call it, to the investigators, when the investigators were questioning them about what happened, they did say that Brian would drink and get really drunk. And one of the kids even said that when he got drunk, he became super strong, whatever that means. Obviously, things that he saw and had to experience when he was drinking. But I think it was more than that. I do think it was more. Is that an excuse? Absolutely not. But I definitely think it was more. I think that they were on substances. And I think they need to go to prison if they did this, allegedly. Because it's innocent until proven guilty. But if they did this, they need to go to prison. And to be honest with you, the mother, the neglect, regardless, even if it was a complete sham and they had nothing to do with anything, the neglect, she needs to be held accountable for. So, yeah. And what do y'all think? How terrible. The investigators and the cops, I mean, they're even struggling with this. The things that they saw and what they've seen those babies go through. I do hope and pray that these babies are at least in a foster home with people that are loving them and being attentive to them. And yeah, keep those babies in your prayers. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, my loves, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to like it. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.